Good evening. Tonight, you'll discover why mushrooms can be older than dinosaurs, how fungi communicate through underground networks, and which mushroom glows in the dark like a tiny lantern. 100 facts about mushrooms and fungi that will guide you into the most peaceful sleep. But first, if you want more journeys like this, subscribe to the channel and leave a like right now, because in just a few minutes, you'll be too relaxed to move. Now then, make yourself comfortable. Let your body sink into your bed. Close your eyes. Tonight, I invite you on a journey through the mysterious world of fungi. 100 remarkable facts, told slowly, gently, without haste. You don't need to remember them. You don't need to analyze them. Just listen, and let these words become part of your dreams. Breathe evenly, deeply, and we begin. Mushrooms are not plants. They're not animals either. They belong to their own kingdom, the kingdom of fungi, a separate domain of life, as different from plants as plants are from animals. For thousands of years, we misunderstood them, classified them wrongly, placed them with plants because they don't move, because they grow from the ground. But now we know there's something entirely unique. They don't photosynthesize, they don't have chlorophyll. Their cell walls are made of chitin, the same material as insect exoskeletons, a kingdom unto themselves, ancient, mysterious, fundamentally different. The mushroom you see is just the fruit, like an apple on a tree. The real organism lives underground, hidden, vast, sprawling through the soil. It's called mycelium, a network of thread-like structures called hyphae. Each thread is thinner than a human hair, but together they can spread for miles, connecting, branching, growing. The mushroom above ground is just how fungi reproduce, sending spores into the wind. Like seeds from a flower, the fruiting body appears, does its job, then withers away. But the true fungus is beneath your feet, invisible, ancient, enormous, living its quiet life in darkness. The largest living organism on Earth is a fungus. In Oregon's Blue Mountains, in the Malheur National Forest, there grows a honey fungus, Armillaria ostoyi. It covers over 2,000 acres. That's nearly 4 square miles, about 1,600 football fields. It weighs hundreds of tons, perhaps thousands. Scientists estimate it's between 2,000 and 8,000 years old. Perhaps even older. It's been growing since before the Roman Empire, before the pyramids were built. One organism, one interconnected being, older than empires, larger than cities, living quietly beneath the forest floor. Most people walk over it, never knowing it's there. Interestingly, fungi are more closely related to animals than to plants. This surprises people. It surprised scientists too, when they first discovered it through DNA analysis. But genetically, we share more with mushrooms than mushrooms share with trees. We diverged from a common ancestor about 1 billion years ago. We both evolved from the same ancient ancestor billions of years ago, then split, took different paths. One lineage became mobile, developed nervous systems, became animals. The other remained stationary, developed different strategies, became fungi. But the kinship remains, in our cells, in our DNA, in the way we process energy. We both store energy as glycogen. We both require oxygen. We both must consume other organisms to survive. We are distant cousins to the mushroom. Strange as that seems, fungi helped create the world you know. About 450 million years ago, there were no plants on land. None. The continents were barren rock, lifeless stone, endless desert. Then fungi formed partnerships with simple algae. The fungi provided protection, structure, moisture. The algae provided food through photosynthesis together. They could survive on land. The first lichens were born. These pioneers broke down rock into soil, year by year, century by century, millimeter by millimeter. They weathered stone, released minerals, created the conditions for plants to follow. Slowly, soil accumulated thin layers at first, then deeper, richer, until finally, the first true plants could take root. Without fungi, there might be no forests, no flowers, no grass, no terrestrial life as we know it. Everything green, everything that grows on land, owes its existence to fungi. They paved the way, made it possible. Trees talk to each other through fungi. Underground, tree roots connect to fungal networks. These networks, called mycorrhizal networks, link tree to tree, forest to forest, creating a vast communication system. Through these connections, trees share resources. A tree with abundant sunlight can send excess sugars to a shaded neighbor. Trees under stress receive support from stronger trees nearby. They send warnings too. When a tree is attacked by insects, it sends chemical signals through the network. Neighboring trees receive the message and begin producing defensive compounds. Before the insects even arrive, a mother tree can recognize her offspring through chemical signatures, and she sends them extra nutrients, preferentially, helping her young survive and grow. Through the fungal network, scientists call it the Wood Wide Web, an internet of trees powered by fungi, older than human civilization, more complex than we ever imagined. Fungi don't photosynthesize. They can't make their own food from sunlight. Instead, they digest. Externally, they secrete powerful enzymes into their surroundings, into wood, into leaves, into soil. These enzymes break down complex materials, cellulose, lignin, proteins, things most organisms cannot digest. Then, the fungi absorb the nutrients, the broken down molecules, directly through their cell walls, their nature's decomposers, recyclers, the cleanup crew. Without them, dead things would pile up, forests would choke on their own debris, fallen trees would never rot, dead leaves would accumulate forever. Fungi return everything to the soil, break down the complex into the simple, complete the circle, make life possible again and again. Death transformed into life through the quiet work of fungi. Some fungi are bioluminescent. They glow in the dark. In tropical forests, at night, you might see them. Soft green light, ethereal, ghostly, emanating from decaying wood, from mushroom caps, from the forest floor itself. Ghost fungus in Australia, bitter oyster in Europe, jack-o'-lantern mushroom in North America. Over 70 species worldwide produce their own light through a chemical reaction similar to fireflies. Why? Perhaps to attract insects to spread their spores. Insects drawn to the glow land on the mushroom, get covered in spores, fly away, spreading them to new locations, or perhaps for reasons we don't yet understand. Nature doesn't always reveal its purposes immediately. Magic made real in the heart of the forest light, from decay, beauty from darkness. The oldest fossils of fungi are over 1 billion years old. 1 billion. Try to imagine that span of time. They predate most complex life on Earth. They were here before plants, before animals, before almost everything we think of as alive. Witnesses to the evolution of life. survivors of 5 mass extinctions, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, the volcanic eruptions that nearly ended all life, the ice ages, the warming periods. Through it all, fungi persisted, ancient, patient, enduring, adapting, surviving. They've seen the entire history of complex life, and they'll likely see whatever comes next. If you're already drifting, that's wonderful. Let these words become background, like rain on leaves, like wind through branches. You don't need to follow, just rest. There are more than 5 million species of fungi estimated to exist. 5 million. That's more than plants, more than animals. A vast, mostly unknown kingdom, but we've only identified about 150,000. Less than 3%, a tiny fraction. The rest remain unknown, unnamed, undiscovered, waiting in forests, in soil, in oceans, in places we haven't looked, in places we can't reach. Every expedition, every soil sample, every fallen log reveals new species. Fungi we've never seen before, never knew existed, an entire hidden world, vastly larger than what we know, most of it still mystery. Mushrooms come in extraordinary colors: bright orange chanterelles, deep purple cortinarius, electric blue Entoloma hochsteteri, blood red hygrocybe, snow white destroying angel, sunshine yellow chicken of the woods. Some look like coral branches rising from the sea, some like human brains, wrinkled and pink, some like tiny umbrellas, delicate and perfect, some like alien flowers from another world. The destroying angel, pure white, elegant as porcelain, beautiful as fresh snow, and deadly. One of the most poisonous mushrooms known, the indigo milk cap, bleeds blue when you cut it, bright blue liquid, like ink, like sky-made liquid. Nature's art gallery, growing from the forest floor, each one a small masterpiece, temporary, ephemeral, gone within days. The fairy ring mushroom creates perfect circles in grass, rings that expand outward, year after year, starting small, growing larger. Some rings are hundreds of years old, hundreds of feet across, visible from space. Ancient peoples thought these were fairy dancing grounds, places where the supernatural touched our world, where sprites held their midnight revels, where mortals shouldn't venture, lest they be enchanted. The truth is equally magical. Underground mycelium, growing outward in all directions, radiating from a central point, exhausting nutrients in the center, pushing ever outward, producing mushrooms at the edge, the growing edge, creating the circle. Year after year, the circle expands, perfectly symmetrical, perfectly round. Mathematics, written in mushrooms. Nature's geometry, perfect, mysterious, beautiful, sacred in its own way. Interestingly, some mushrooms taste like chicken, others like lobster, others like maple syrup. The chicken of the woods mushroom, bright orange and yellow, when cooked properly, has the texture and flavor of chicken. Remarkably so, vegetarians seek it out, prize it. Some say it's indistinguishable from the real thing. The lobster mushroom, bright orange-red on the outside, white inside, tastes remarkably like seafood, like lobster, like crab. The ocean, captured in forest fungus. The candy cap, small and brown and ordinary looking, smells and tastes of maple syrup, pure maple, sweet, used in desserts, in ice cream, in cookies. A mushroom that tastes like breakfast. Fungi, offering flavors, borrowed from other kingdoms, mimicking what they are not. Truffles grow underground, completely hidden. They never emerge, never see sunlight, never break through the soil surface. They depend on animals to find them. Dig them up, eat them, scatter their spores. Pigs and dogs can smell them, even through feet of soil, that distinctive aroma, earthy, pungent, musky, irresistible to certain animals and to certain humans. In Europe, trained dogs now do the work. In Italy, in France, handler and dog walking through oak forests. The dog stops, scratches, points, and there, inches down, a truffle. The most expensive truffles, white truffles from Alba, can sell for thousands of dollars per pound. Tens of thousands for exceptional specimens, hidden treasure, buried gold beneath the earth, a fungus worth more than precious metals. Indigenous peoples have used fungi as medicine for thousands of years, long before modern science, long before laboratories. They knew through observation, through trial and error, through generations of accumulated wisdom. The Iceman, Ötzi, who died 5,300 years ago in the Alps, carried dried mushrooms with him, tied to his belongings, likely for medicinal purposes, for treating infections, for wounds. Traditional Chinese medicine has used fungi for millennia, reishi for longevity, cordyceps for vitality, turkey tail for immunity, detailed records, careful preparations, specific applications, knowledge passed down through generations, through centuries, mother to daughter, healer to apprentice, recognizing what science is only now beginning to understand. The wisdom was always there. We're just catching up. Penicillin, the first antibiotic, comes from a fungus. Alexander Fleming discovered it by accident in 1928 in his laboratory in London, a petri dish, left uncovered, contaminated by mold spores drifting through the air. When he returned, he noticed something, a blue-green mold, penicillium, growing on the dish, and around it, a clear zone, no bacteria. The mold was killing the bacteria. That discovery changed medicine forever, changed human history, saved countless millions of lives, made surgery safer, made infections survivable, made childbirth less deadly, turned diseases from death sentences into inconveniences. World War II soldiers wounded, infected, saved by penicillin, produced in vast quantities, shipped to the front lines, all from a fungus, growing where it wasn't wanted, creating something extraordinary, teaching us that contamination can sometimes be a gift. Some fungi can break down plastic. Pestalozchiopsis microspora, discovered in the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador, can digest polyurethane, one of the most common plastics, one of the hardest to break down, even in the absence of oxygen, even in landfills. Other fungi can break down petroleum products, oil spills, crude oil, heavy metals, toxic chemicals, things we created that nature couldn't handle, until we discovered that fungi could. They might be our allies in cleaning up pollution, restoring damaged ecosystems, healing industrial sites, remediating contaminated soil, healing what we've harmed, mycoremediation, using fungi to clean up our mistakes, nature's solution to modern problems, offered freely if we're willing to listen, willing to learn. Fungi existed when the first animals crawled onto land. They witnessed the rise of dinosaurs, their 200 million year reign, their sudden extinction 66 million years ago. They saw the age of mammals begin, the evolution of primates, the emergence of humans, the development of agriculture, the rise of civilization, the Industrial Revolution, everything we think of as human history. And they'll be here when we're gone, long after still growing, still decomposing, still connecting, still sustaining life. They were here before us. They'll be here after us. Patient, enduring, witnessing everything. Perhaps you're breathing slower now, your body heavy, sinking deeper into the mattress, your mind quiet, thoughts drifting like clouds, like leaves on water. That's perfect. That's exactly right. You don't need to follow every word, every fact. Just let them wash over you. Let the facts drift past, like clouds, like thoughts you don't need to hold. You can let go whenever you're ready. Lichens are not one organism. They're two, or sometimes three. A fungus and an alga, living together so intimately that for centuries we thought they were one thing, one species. The fungus provides structure, protection, moisture retention. The alga photosynthesizes, creates food from sunlight, creates sugars together. They can survive in places neither could alone. Arctic tundra, where temperatures plunge. Desert rocks baking in the sun. Mountain peaks scoured by wind-bare stone. Harsh conditions, partnership, older than flowers, more enduring than empires, cooperation as a survival strategy. Nearly all plants depend on fungal partnerships. 90% of plant species form mycorrhizal associations, fungal threads wrapping around roots, extending far into soil like extensions of the root system itself. The fungi bring water from distant sources, nutrients, phosphorus, nitrogen, minerals from far away, places the roots can't reach alone. The plants provide sugars, made from sunlight through photosynthesis, energy, carbon, trade, cooperation, mutual benefit, happening beneath every forest, every garden, every field, every meadow, invisible, essential, ancient, the foundation of terrestrial ecosystems. Some fungi, farm bacteria, they cultivate them, tend them carefully, use them for their own purposes. Like tiny underground farmers, leafcutter ants, farm fungi in their underground colonies, massive colonies, millions of ants. But those fungi also cultivate bacteria, specific bacteria, to produce antibiotics, to protect their fungal gardens from disease, from competing molds. Three kingdoms working together: insects, fungi, bacteria, in underground cities, complex societies, beneath the rainforest floor. Agriculture didn't begin with humans. It began millions of years ago with ants, with fungi. Cordyceps fungi have inspired countless stories. They infect insects, ants, beetles, grasshoppers, take over their minds, their nervous systems, compel them to climb to high places, to bite down on a leaf or branch and hold on. Then the fungus grows slowly, emerges from the insect's body. A long stalk releases spores high above the forest floor, where air currents can carry them far. It sounds like science fiction, like horror, but it's real, happening right now, in tropical forests. Nature, stranger than imagination, evolution, creating scenarios we could never invent. Interestingly, yeast is a fungus. That's right, the tiny organisms that make bread rise, that ferment beer and wine and sake. They're fungi too, single-celled fungi, microscopic, invisible to the naked eye, but essential to human civilization. We've been partners for thousands of years, since ancient Egypt, since Mesopotamia, since the first bread, the first beer. Every loaf of bread, every glass of wine, every beer, every pizza crust, made possible by our fungal allies, by Saccharomyces cerevisiae, baker's yeast, brewer's yeast, working quietly, consuming sugars, producing carbon dioxide and alcohol, transforming simple ingredients into something more. Lion's mane mushroom, might help your brain. Studies suggest it stimulates nerve growth factor, may help with memory, cognitive function, even regenerating nerve damage. Traditional medicine in China has known this for centuries, used it for focus, for clarity. Modern science is catching up, conducting studies, finding evidence. Turkey tail mushroom has been used in cancer treatment. In Japan and China, extracts are used alongside conventional therapy as supplements. Studies show they may boost immune function, improve outcomes, help patients tolerate chemotherapy better. Not a cure, but perhaps a helper, an ally. Nature still teaching us, still offering what we need. Reishi mushroom is called the mushroom of immortality. For thousands of years, in Asia, it's been prized for promoting longevity, calm, balance, inner peace. Does it truly extend life? Science is uncertain. The studies are mixed. But people have believed for millennia, and sometimes belief itself has power. Some mushrooms contain compounds that affect the mind. Psilocybin mushrooms, used in ancient rituals, in healing ceremonies, by cultures around the world for thousands of years. Modern research is exploring their potential for treating depression, anxiety, PTSD, addiction, with promising results. What ancient peoples knew intuitively, science now measures, studies, begins to understand. The old wisdom meeting new methods. Your breathing is steady now, deep, slow, natural, like waves, like tides. Your body knows how to rest. You don't need to listen actively. The words can fade. Just be present and rest, let go. Fungi can survive in extreme environments, in the frozen Antarctic, in boiling hot springs, in the depths of lightless caves, in radioactive zones. Some fungi were found growing in the Chernobyl reactor after the disaster, feeding on radiation, melanin in their cells, converting radiation into chemical energy, thriving where nothing else could survive. Fungi have been to space. Experiments show they can survive in the vacuum of space, exposed to cosmic radiation, extreme cold, no atmosphere, no pressure. Some species even grow better in space, faster, larger. Radiation seems to energize them somehow. Perhaps one day, fungi will help us colonize other worlds, breaking down rock, creating soil, on Mars, on distant moons. Desert truffles survive years without rain, underground, dormant, waiting patiently, in suspended animation. And when rain finally comes, after months or years, they fruit, suddenly, abundantly. Bedouins have harvested them for centuries. Know where to look, when to dig. After the first rains, life, patient, resilient, waiting for its moment. Fungi live in the deepest parts of the ocean, miles down, in darkness, under crushing pressure, near hydrothermal vents where water boils. We thought fungi were terrestrial, land organisms only, but they're there too, in the abyss, adapted, thriving, everywhere. There is life. There are fungi in every ecosystem, every environment. Some fungi live inside other organisms, endophytes, living in plant tissues, inside leaves, inside stems, inside roots, without causing harm. Invisible tenants, sometimes providing benefits, protection from insects, resistance to disease, drought tolerance. Every plant might harbor fungi, inside, hidden, present, symbiotic, a relationship we're only beginning to understand. When you walk through a forest, every breath you take contains fungal spores, millions of them, billions, floating invisible, drifting on air currents, waiting to land, to grow, to begin again. You breathe them in, breathe them out, carry them from place to place. We are part of their dispersal, part of their life cycle, part of their story. Mycoremediation is the use of fungi to clean up pollution, oil spills, contaminated soil chemical waste, industrial sites. Fungi can break down what we cannot, what bacteria cannot. Oyster mushrooms can digest petroleum, crude oil, convert it into harmless compounds, into biomass. Nature's janitors, nature's cleanup crew, offering solutions to problems we created if we're willing to work with them. Fungi help create soil. They break down rock, mineral by mineral, decompose organic matter, fallen leaves, dead wood, animal remains, create the rich, dark earth that sustains life. Without fungi, there would be less soil, shallower soil, poorer soil, less nutrients. The ground beneath your feet exists partly because of fungi, built over millennia, layer by layer. Dead trees become nurseries. Fungi colonize them, break them down over years, over decades, slowly returning what the tree took from the earth, recycling everything. And in that decay, new life begins. Seeds sprout in the rich, fungal-laden wood, nurse logs, young trees, growing from the bodies of old ones, death, becoming life, the circle, continuing forever. Nothing wasted, everything transformed. If you're still listening, there's no need. Your body knows how to rest, how to sleep, how to let go. You can trust it. Trust the process. Let these words fade into background like distant music, like rain on a roof. Soft, rhythmic. You can let go. Let sleep come. When it's ready, no pressure, no rush. Mushroom cultivation began over 1,000 years ago in China, Japan, Korea, growing shiitake on logs, controlled, intentional, harvested, perfecting techniques over generations. Now, mushrooms are farmed worldwide. Button mushrooms, portobello, oyster, shiitake, enoki, the third most cultivated crop, after rice and wheat in terms of weight produced. Billions of pounds every year. A single mushroom can produce billions of spores, billions, from one fruiting body released into the air over days, carried by wind, by rain, by animals, by your footsteps. Most will never grow, will never find the right conditions, the right substrate, but a few will, and that's enough. Abundance beyond measure, possibility everywhere, nature's strategy, overwhelming odds with sheer numbers. Morels are prized by chefs worldwide. Their honeycomb appearance, their nutty, earthy flavor, delicate, complex, unmistakable, impossible to replicate. They appear in spring, after fires, in certain soils, under certain trees, unpredictable, mysterious. Foragers search, year after year, some spots, kept secret for generations, passed down, guarded, a treasure map of the forest. Interestingly, you can grow mushrooms from coffee grounds, oyster mushrooms especially. They thrive on used coffee, otherwise waste, destined for landfills. Urban farmers collect grounds from cafes, inoculate them with fungal spawn, grow food from garbage, in basements, in warehouses. Transformation, alchemy, waste becoming nourishment, the magic of fungi. Making something from nothing. Matsutake mushrooms are one of the most expensive. In Japan, they're treasured cultural icons for their spicy aromatic scent, their association with autumn, with tradition, with impermanence. They cannot be cultivated, only foraged from old-growth forests, pine forests, becoming rarer each year as forests disappear. A mushroom worth more than gold by weight, hundreds of dollars per pound, sometimes thousands. Yeast cells can live for thousands of years in a dormant state, dried, frozen, waiting. Then, given water, warmth, sugar, they awaken, multiply, resume life, as if no time passed. Ancient yeast has been revived from Egyptian vessels, from amber, from ice cores, from ancient beer jars brought back after millennia, still viable, still capable of making bread, of fermenting beer, unchanged. Under a microscope, fungal structures are beautiful, delicate branching patterns, intricate networks, crystalline arrangements of spores, geometric precision. What seems simple reveals complexity. What seems chaotic reveals order, hidden architecture, invisible beauty. The invisible made visible and gorgeous. Art. In the microscopic world, some fungi produce antibiotics naturally to defend their territory, to compete with bacteria, for resources, for space, chemical warfare. On a microscopic scale, we discovered these compounds, extracted them, purified them, used them to save lives, millions of lives. But fungi made them first for their own purposes, their own survival. We just borrowed the innovation. Learned from nature. Fungal spores are everywhere. In the air you breathe, in water, on surfaces, on your skin, in your home, in your food. Countless trillions, drifting, settling, waiting, most harmless. Some beneficial, a few less so. We live in a world of spores, a spore cloud. Mostly, we never notice, never think about it, but they're there, always. We're halfway through. 50 facts, 50 still to come. But if you're sleeping, that's perfect. That's the goal. You don't need to hear them all. The journey matters, not the destination. Just rest, let go. Sleep is more important than any fact, than any knowledge. Slime molds aren't truly fungi, but they're close relatives. They can solve mazes, find the most efficient paths, connect food sources with minimal network length like engineers. They have no brain, no nervous system, no neurons, yet they problem solve, make decisions, optimize routes, intelligence, without neurons, without thought, pure biological computing, cellular wisdom. Fungi can remember, sort of. They show learned behavior adaptation based on past conditions, memory without a brain. They grow differently if they've encountered certain challenges before: drought, temperature extremes, as if they remember, store information somehow, not conscious memory, but something. Information, stored in their structure, in their chemistry, in their patterns. Some mushrooms grow only in association with specific trees, chanterelles with oaks or pines, truffles with hazels and oaks, matsutake with certain conifers, exclusive partnerships. The relationship is ancient, co-evolved, millions of years old. Neither can thrive without the other. Interdependent, dependency, partnership across kingdoms, evolution, creating bonds that cannot be broken. Fungi communicate chemically, releasing compounds, detecting compounds, signaling to each other, to plants, to insects, chemical messages, a chemical language, more ancient than words, more subtle than sound. Molecular conversations we cannot hear, but happening constantly all around us, under our feet. Interestingly, fungi can sense light, though they don't photosynthesize. They know when it's day, when it's night, where light comes from. Photoreceptors in their cells. Some grow toward light, some away from it, some only fruit. When certain light conditions are met, day length, light, quality, awareness, without eyes, perception, without vision, sensitivity to the world around them. Mushrooms appear in fairy tales worldwide, toadstools where fairies sit, mushroom rings where spirits dance, poisonous gifts from witches' magic portals, enchanted forests, perhaps because they appear overnight, seemingly from nowhere, without warning, magic made visible, or perhaps because some change consciousness, alter perception, open doors, in the mind, to other realms. The Sami people of Northern Europe have used fly agaric mushrooms in shamanic practices. The red cap with white spots, iconic, recognizable worldwide, psychoactive, transformative, used to journey, to commune with spirits, to see beyond the ordinary. For thousands of years, whether you believe in the spiritual dimension or simply in neurochemistry, the experience is real. The altered state is real. In medieval Europe, mushrooms were viewed with suspicion. They appeared suddenly, from decay, from darkness. Some were poisonous, deadly. They seemed unnatural, sinister. Only peasants ate them regularly. The wealthy mostly avoided them, considered them low food, dangerous. Now we know better. Appreciate them, cultivate them, celebrate them, prize them. Understanding changes everything. Fear becomes appreciation. The study of fungi is called mycology, from the Greek myx, meaning mushroom, and logos, meaning study. The study of mushrooms. Mycologists dedicate their lives to understanding these mysterious organisms, this hidden kingdom, patient observation, careful research. There is still so much to learn, so many species undiscovered, so many relationships unknown, mysteries waiting. Your eyelids are heavy, your thoughts drifting, floating, your body at rest, completely relaxed. This is good, this is right. Let go, let sleep come. When it's ready, no need to wait, no need to hear more. The facts will continue, but you can rest, can dream. Some mushrooms can withstand freezing. They fruit in late autumn, even in early winter, when most other organisms have gone dormant. When the ground is cold, they contain natural antifreeze, compounds that prevent ice crystal formation in their cells, proteins, sugars, glycerol, life, adapted to cold, to frost, to winter. Bird's nest fungi look exactly like tiny nests, complete with eggs inside, brown cups with round spore packets, but those eggs are peridials, spore containers. When raindrops hit, they splash out, fly through the air, land far away, sometimes sticking to plant stems with a sticky thread, designed by evolution for dispersal through rain, through impact, engineering at microscopic scale. Stinkhorn mushrooms smell like rotting flesh, intentionally, powerfully, unmistakably, to attract flies, carrion flies. The flies crawl over the mushroom, get covered in spores, get tricked, fly away, spread the spores to new locations. What repels us attracts them. Different strategies for different organisms. Evolution using disgust as a tool. Some fungi are bioluminescent only at certain times, only at night, or only when disturbed, or only during certain stages of their growth. Controlled glow, a regulated glow, triggered. For purposes we're still discovering. Communication, attraction, defense, nature, still holding secrets, still teaching us. If we pay attention, fungi have been used to make dyes, beautiful colors extracted from mushrooms, reds from cortinarius, yellows from chanterelles, purples, browns, greens. Traditional textile artists still use them. The colors are subtle, natural, earthy, long-lasting. From decay, beauty. From decomposition, color. From death, art. When a forest is clear-cut, the fungal network is destroyed. Years of growth, decades, centuries of connections gone, in hours, in days. This disrupts the entire ecosystem. Trees can't communicate, can't share resources, can't warn each other. Seedlings struggle without fungal partners. The visible damage is obvious. The invisible damage, equally profound, perhaps more so. Some scientists believe fungal networks are the foundation of forest resilience, the way forests recover from disturbance, adapt to change, resist disease, withstand drought, remove the fungi, and forests become fragile, less diverse, less stable, less able to cope. The underground, supporting the above ground, the invisible, enabling the visible, the hidden, sustaining everything. Truffle dogs can be trained to find truffles, their sense of smell, extraordinary. 10,000 times more sensitive than ours they detect. The unique aroma of mature truffles, even deep underground, a partnership, human and dog, searching together for fungal treasure, working as a team. The dog signals, the human digs, both rewarded. Collaboration across species. Some mushrooms taste different depending on how they're cooked raw. They're one thing, sautéed, another, grilled, something else, dried and rehydrated, transformed again. Heat transforms their compounds, changes their flavors, breaks down cell walls, releases hidden qualities, simple fungi, complex chemistry, endless possibilities. If you're still awake, it's fine. Some nights, sleep comes slowly, gently, in its own time, your body's time. These words will continue, like a river, like breath. You can listen, or not. Either way is perfect. No judgment, no pressure, just presence. Fungi might help us build sustainable materials. Mycelium can be grown into specific shapes, molded, leather alternatives, packaging materials, even building bricks, insulation, biodegradable, renewable, grown, not manufactured. Using agricultural waste as food, corn stalks, hemp, sawdust. The future of materials might be fungal grown, not made. Interestingly, fungi could help us colonize other planets. They break down rock, create soil from stone, recycle waste, produce food, close the loop. In closed-loop life support systems, fungi are essential, breaking down, building up, cycling nutrients, making life possible. Partners on Earth, partners perhaps among the stars, in habitats on Mars, on the Moon. Some mushrooms contain compounds similar to antiviral drugs. Traditional medicine recognized this centuries ago. Modern research confirms it. Studies, clinical trials, shiitake, turkey tail, chaga, others, showing activity against various viruses, influenza, herpes, others. Ancient wisdom, modern science converging, finding truth in old knowledge. Fungi help sequester carbon. Mycorrhizal networks move carbon from atmosphere into soil. Through plants, through photosynthesis, store it, lock it away. For years, for decades, for centuries, healthy fungal networks mean more carbon storage. This matters for climate, for balance, for stability. Small organisms, invisible threads, global impact. The smell of rain after a dry spell partly comes from fungi. That earthy scent, called petrichor, includes compounds released by soil fungi. Geosmin, earthy, musky. When rain hits after drought, fungi release spores and oils, creating that distinctive aroma, that smell of renewal, the smell of renewal, of life, returning, of earth, awakening. Mushrooms, fruit, when conditions are right, temperature, moisture, season, nutrients, all must align, perfect conditions. Then, seemingly overnight, they appear, like magic, like miracles, pushing through soil, through leaves, but underground. The mycelium was always there, waiting, preparing, accumulating resources. For the right moment, patience, rewarded. A mushroom's life is brief, days, sometimes just hours. They fruit, release spores, millions of spores, then decay, dissolve back into earth, quick, ephemeral, transient. But in that brief time, billions of spores, countless possibilities, future forests, brief life, vast impact, legacy, in spores. Fungi don't compete the way animals do. They cooperate, share space, interweave different species, growing together in the same log, the same patch of soil, side by side, coexistence, without conflict, different strategies, different timings, different resources, different niches, harmony in diversity. Your breath is slow now, deep, easy, natural, like sleeping breath, like waves, because maybe you are sleeping. And that's good, that's perfect, that's the point, the goal achieved. Rest deeply. Mushrooms are mostly water, 90% or more, sometimes 95%. The rest, chitin, proteins, fibers, but mostly water, held in structure. Cellular architecture temporary, soon to return to the earth, to the cycle, like us. Mostly water, temporary structures, part of larger cycles, borrowed for a time. Some fungi live in extreme heat, near volcanic vents, in hot springs, where temperatures reach near boiling, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, thermophilic fungi, heat-loving, adapted, thriving, where most life cannot, where proteins denature, where cells die. Life finds a way always, everywhere. The smallest fungi are single cells, yeasts, barely visible, microscopic, yet mighty, powerful, transforming, sugars to alcohol, raising, bread, fermenting, everything. Size isn't everything. Impact is, influence is, effect on the world. Fungi were likely among the first organisms on land, pioneering, preparing the way, making it possible for everything else, every plant, every animal, first to arrive, last to leave, always present, constant, enduring. You don't need to count how many facts remain, 16 more, but numbers don't matter. You don't need to stay awake for the end, for completion. Sleep, whenever it comes, is welcome, is right. No need to finish. Mushrooms connect life and death. They grow on decay, on endings, return nutrients, make space for new growth, new beginnings, not morbid, natural, essential, beautiful. The way things should be. The circle, complete. Some cultures see fungi as teachers, showing us about interconnection, about cycles, about the importance of what's hidden, of what we can't see. Perhaps they're right. Perhaps there's wisdom in the way fungi live, in how they grow, how they connect. Lessons for us all. Under every footstep, in a forest, kilometers of fungal threads, invisible, intricate, delicate yet strong, essential, supporting everything above, every tree, every plant, the foundation, the network, the hidden infrastructure of life, unseen, unnoticed, vital. Fungi will outlast most species. They've survived 5 mass extinctions. They'll survive whatever comes next. Climate change, asteroid impacts, volcanic winters, adaptable, resilient, patient, flexible, persistent, eternal. Your body is completely relaxed now, heavy, sinking, melting, at peace, as it should be, as it needs to be. Every muscle, soft, every breath, slow, every thought, distant. 10 more facts, like 10 gentle steps, down, into deep rest, into darkness, into sleep. But you don't need them. You can stop, here now, this moment permission to let go, to drift away, to sleep. Fungi remind us that life continues in ways we can't always see, beneath, between, within, hidden, invisible, but real, always working, always present, always transforming, always connecting. They teach patience. Growth takes time. Connections develop slowly, steadily. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. Natural timing, natural rhythm. They teach cooperation. No organism is truly alone. We are all connected through networks, through relationships, through symbiosis, interdependent. They teach transformation. Death becomes life. Waste becomes food. Endings become beginnings. The circle forever turning. Nothing lost. Everything transformed. They teach humility. We understand in so little of this vast kingdom, of life itself. So much mystery, so much left to discover, so much we don't know. Mushrooms are ordinary and extraordinary, common and magical, simple and profound. Both things at once. Paradox, mystery. They've been here long before us. They'll be here long after, witnessing, persisting. And that's okay. That's the way it should be, the way it must be. And that's okay. That's the way it should be, the natural order. We are temporary. They are more permanent, more enduring, witnesses to time. You've traveled with me through the fungal kingdom, through forests, through soil, through microscopic worlds, through time. One more fact, one final thought, and then silence, rest. Fungi teach us the most important lesson. Everything is connected, everything is temporary, everything returns, everything continues, nothing ends, nothing is separate. Life, death, decay, renewal, transformation, connection, the great cycle, forever turning, endless. And we are part of it, connected to everything, to each other, to the earth, to the fungi, beneath our feet, to the whole web. We are threads in the network, part of the mycelium of life itself. Thank you for this journey into the mysterious world of fungi. Let these stories settle into your mind like spores, landing gently, finding their place. You don't need to remember them. They've done their work guiding you to this moment, this stillness, this peace. The world of fungi continues, growing, connecting, transforming, breaking down, building up. Whether you're awake or asleep, the work continues. And you can rest now, can let go, completely, fully, without reservation. Your breath, slow and steady, like waves. Your body, heavy and comfortable, sinking deeper. Your mind, quiet and peaceful, empty. Still may you sleep deeply. May you dream gently. May you wake, refreshed, renewed. The fungi will still be there, growing, in darkness, in silence, doing their work, as they have for 1 billion years, as they will for 1 billion more. Good night. Sleep well. Dream of forests, of connections, of networks beneath your feet, and rest.